Good morning. Well, if you look behind me here, you'll notice a farmer is already taking advantage of the good conditions and tilling his fields to get it ready for planting. Those with the Adams County Farm Bureau say the situation this year is a far cry from last year's rainy and cold. Good morning. Now, this right here is a flex pen. It can hold 3 milliliters of insulin. Now, those with Blessing Health say that the Blessing Health officials tell me that a 10 milliliter bottle of insulin, now this depends on the type of the brand, can cost all the way up to more than $400. All right, well, if you look behind me right here, not only are you going to see this burnt trailer from the truck, but if you look at that pile of rubble there, that's what's left of the truck's cabin. So what the Wayland fire chief, he believes what happens is that the truck's regan emissions had overheated, causing it to catch fire while the driver was driving. Good morning. This new law would increase the penalties for those caught with 100 grams of heroin. Those with the Lee County Narcotics Task Force say that's about the size of this softball here. Task Force Commander.
The old Quincy Plumbing and Heating Distributors building has been sitting abandoned for some time, but work is being done to give it new life. DP Construction Company President Derek Price says in 2024, this old building will be home to office space and apartments. He says already they have the units built and are now working on both framing and hooking up utilities. He says they know how important old buildings like these are to the community.
We saw this building and we saw the view that it had. And just the asset it could be to our community, and thought, man, we have to do something with this building, and we have the ability to do it and the passion to do it, so let's do it.
Price says they hope to have some of the apartments opened later this year for some residents. The facility will even have a gym for residents. Quincy Area Chamber of Commerce President and CEO Bruce Guthrie says it can be a difficult task revamping old buildings, but it's an effective way to help Quincy.
We're so excited to have this building being brought into not only retail space, but also places where we can have more housing.
Guthrie is hoping this will lead to more old buildings being revamped into apartments to help address the housing need in Quincy. Price says they have other plans to renovate old downtown area buildings, but they are still being worked on. Ryan Hill, WGEM News.
Sheltered homelessness would be maybe staying with a friend, or staying with one friend one night and somebody else the next night, commonly referred to as couch surfing or double bunking. They're still homeless. They do not have a place to call their own, but they are sheltered from the elements, so they're inside.
Currently, the numbers of that are fairly stable, but they are increasing a little bit as the financial hardships exist for not only our region but all regions.
In Canton, Missouri, the closest rec centers are located in Quincy and Hannibal. For sports teams needing to practice or host games in the winter, they are limited to using the local high school. However, a nearly $1 million grant from the state looks to build a rec center for the town.
Our parents used to take us to all these facilities, and we've always been wanting to get something here in our town. And so we finally have pushed forward to try to find a way to get a facility in our town.
Project manager Danielle Baker says they and other investors have put forward $1 million to match the funds from the state to help build the rec center. Mayor Jared Phillips says the grant puts them on track to start construction next spring.
We're talking about a multi-million-dollar facility here. Again, for a community our size, anytime you're building something that's over $1 million, that's a welcome investment in a community.
Canton Athletic Association President Jim Crenshaw says while the high school is a good place to practice in the winter, it can be difficult to secure space, and when hosting tournaments, the space can be limited for their local teams.
We have several traveling teams and several teams that play out of here that go to other facilities, such as St. Louis, even in Columbia, throughout the whole Midwest.
Baker says they have secured the lot, and the facility will offer many items for the community to use.
We plan to have an indoor track in it, weight room, and then like 2, maybe 3 basketball courts, depending on the size of things, and then some batting cages.
She says the size will also allow them to host sports tournaments, such as basketball, but also volleyball, pickleball, wrestling, and other events. Crenshaw says hosting sports tournaments will be a great source of revenue for local businesses, such as restaurants and hotels, but also lead to investment.
Our hotel holds about 60 capacity, and I look to the future, if this facility gets up and going well, that someone would be willing to invest again and bring another hotel, which in turn will boost our business on the highway.
Phillips says for now, it's intended to not cost the taxpayers any money unless additional infrastructure is needed. They hope to have it opened in 18 to 24 months when construction starts. Ryan Hill, WGEM News.